emotional eater. Look at that chubby face. And not an emotional eater. I know I got a ways to go, but come on. That's a little bit better, huh? There we go. So you don't have to see that just in the mirror. I don't know why I like it whenever I can pull in my shirt a little bit, because it kind of exposes the fact that I've, have a much smaller waist now. Anyways, gained a bunch of muscle while I was at it as well, and I'm gonna tell you how. Okay, and as has become like a theme recently, lifting and lifting hard enough is going to be, I'm gonna show you what lifting hard enough looks like. I'm about to go film my workout, or at least a piece of it. Just show you exactly what that looks like, because it's a little bit uncomfortable. Now, how does that relate to emotional eating? That could be, I totally wouldn't blame a person for being like, how does the gym and lifting relate to emotional eating? And that goes back to whenever you get results, like motivation only lasts so long. But whenever you get results and you're feeling good, you're looking better, and that leads to more motivation, it really is a powerful thing that you don't have to depend on the emotional, like you don't have to feel in a position where you feel like you have to emotionally eat. You feel better about yourself. You feel better about your body. You feel more positive about the whole thing. And so that negativity doesn't lead to emotional eating. Now, I know that sometimes high emotions also can lead to emotional eating, or can lead to eating, which could be classified as emotional eating. But whenever those high emotions, those really positive emotions, are felt with how your body's looking, it's hard, for me at least, and a lot of my clients that I'm training, to be like, you know what, yeah, I would like to binge on 12 donuts. It's just hard to decide to do that whenever so much positivity around how you're eating, how you're lifting, and all that comes into play. So how does hard lifting come into play? It's not just exercise, it's hard lifting. I think especially as a beginner, your body, this is just kind of me guessing. Most things I quote science, but this is kind of my guess of how it works. But recomping, meaning losing fat and building muscle at the same time, is totally possible, especially as a beginner. Your body is super open to wanting to grow muscle. It's super open to that stimulus of muscle growth. And so, by you lifting hard and lifting appropriately difficult, you are basically forcing that muscle growth. Your body, if you're at maintenance or you're lower than maintenance, your body is going to, well, I got to build the muscle. I have to. This is a new stimulus. We need this muscle. This is really hard. And that's the key. That's why pushing hard is so important. So this is really hard. I have to build this muscle. This energy has to come from somewhere. I'm going to write it out on my blackboard at home, kind of like an illustration. But in order to grow muscle, your body needs calories. It needs energy to build that muscle. If it doesn't have the energy in your diet, well, where's it going to take it from? If you're a beginner and it's like, I will build this muscle, but I don't have the energy in my diet, it's going to take it from body fat. And I think that's how recomping, especially at first, works. And it's an amazing effect where you literally will gain multiple pounds of muscle if you're working out properly. So I'm going to show you what that is. And as you gain more pounds of muscle, that takes body fat to build that muscle because you're in a calorie deficit. And then your basal metabolic rate increases because you have more muscle. It's this beautiful cycle. And by the end of your weight loss journey, your metabolism is not screwed up because you have all this muscle. So this is just so important. I think really ties into emotional eating. Okay, so one of the major things that you are going to be needing to focus on, in my opinion, with emotional eating is giving yourself lots of opportunity to not let your emotions take over. So what that means is having access to different foods, recipes and things like that. I'm going to show you a screenshot of my recipe book right here. And it's totally free. If you want it, find me on Instagram, Aaron Trainer Fitness or Aaron Trainer Fit. You'll see me on there. Just DM me and we'll get that sent over to you right away. But the reason that these delicious, high protein, high volume foods are necessary is to satisfy cravings. I mean, if you want, I'm going to show you later tonight. I have a ice cream, a protein ice cream. It is double chocolate Oreo, delicious. And it has the consistency of ice cream and it's great. So I'm gonna show that to you. That's also gonna be in the recipe book, but it helps with cravings. You know, if you want ice cream, you have ice cream. It's just a better version of it. And some of the other things that I'm gonna go over in this video increase your calorie allotment so you can still have things that are, you know, actually go out for ice cream and stuff. But recipes, the convenience of meal prep and pulling out a meal. Let me actually show you. Let me see if we have anything still in here. Yeah, so this is cheesy protein rice, Diet Mountain Dew, well, Diet Mountain Lightning. And that, you know what, that's a tip too. Like diet soda, listen, it ain't gonna kill you, okay? Using it is a good idea. And then this is, oh man, what is that? White chicken chili. And then this is like an Asian stir fry thing. All very high protein recipes. And those recipes, I can pull it out if I'm tempted. If I ever want like something that my daughter has in the pantry or something, we have a lockbox too. I should probably show you that. I'll get it in a second. But if I ever am tempted to do that, I kind of tell myself I can do that. I just have to eat something first. You know, I have to eat one of my meals, and usually my hunger is taken away, and the temptation of the thing is taken away. So that is the heart and soul of, in my opinion, the key. As much as lifting and then what we're going to talk about, which is cardio, as much as those things are important, and having a good plan and succeeding on that plan, and therefore that plan encourages you and motivates you and prevents emotional eating. I think the key is recipes and knowing what is actually going in your body, being aware of, you know, oh, this isn't as many calories as I thought, and having access to something quick out of the fridge. I'm going to show you our lockbox because I guess this is a tip that I use for emotional eating, but I don't need it nearly as much anymore except for one thing. So let me show you. Okay, so this is the lockbox. It is literally a pantry lockbox. I think it was like 20 bucks on Amazon. I'm having trouble like showing you the whole thing. There is some Cheez-Its in there right now. And here's the thing. I don't know. Those don't really need to be in there. This is what needs to be in there. Peanut butter. I am weak when it comes to peanut butter. It ain't good. It's not good. I can't be around it. Still to this day. I think I'm a lot better at controlling myself around it than I used to be, but no joke. I'm not exaggerating here. This isn't just for the video. That jar, the big jar of peanut butter, you know, the normal big jar from Walmart or whatever, I'm not exaggerating. A week tops is what it would last. The small jars, I would get those thinking that like, and it, you know, I guess it succeeded. Like, well, at least I don't have access to a ton of peanut butter. That would be gone in a weekend. Not exaggerating. We would go grocery shopping on Saturday morning, or I would go grocery shopping on Saturday morning. It would be consumed by Sunday evening for sure. And I don't know what's in that, you know, what's in that jar. There's 35 servings of 180 calories. Alexa, what's 35 times 180?
35 times 180 is 6,300.
6,300. That's how many calories are in the large jar. I bet it's like 2,500-ish in the small jars. I don't know. It's bad. So anyways, that's there. And that's a good tip that I didn't have planned for this video, but you know, locking up your food, it does help because a lot of times those emotional triggers, at least for me, the temptation passes, you know, it's not like it just keeps on going. So you just got to make it through those temptations sometimes, make it through those moments where you're a little bit tempted, and it gets a lot better, you know? So it's not so bad. Okay, so, oh my gosh, this is so icy. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this video right here. I'm in a park. Lots of ice, lots of snow. So maybe not the best place to get my steps, because that's what this is about, is your cardio. That's what this point is about. Your cardio being a huge part of your emotional eating journey as well. Now, just like the lifting, you might be wondering, like, how does cardio relate to emotional eating? It's the same thing in that success will help you overcome that emotional eating. So I know it's like the cyclical pattern of, oh my gosh, this is so icy. Jeez. It's a cyclical pattern of, you know, yeah, I of course success would help, but I'm emotional eating. So how do I overcome that so that I can have success? And part of it is exercising despite how you're feeling. At least that's what it was for me. And that's how I coach my clients, is that motivation fades and your success becomes that motivation. You're pretty motivated to not eat garbage and not to binge whenever you're having success. So this is one way of doing that. And one part of a person's plan is that they need to be doing cardio. I'm a firm believer that weightlifting is the holy grail for staying young and losing weight and having success and all this stuff. But cardio is the immediate way of achieving a lot of your success. You're going to lose more fat if you are focused on cardio and getting more steps. So for me and my clients, especially at first, I emphasize steps over cardio. I mean, you can get steps through cardio, but I emphasize actually getting a good amount of steps. Now that might for you be 7,000, 8,000. For me right now, I just started my cut. I'm at 14,000. It just allows me to eat more food and allows me to stay on that game a little bit more. This is so icy. I don't know if I should be walking here. Anyways, yeah, here we go. Found some snow. So it allows me to be on my game because emotional eating isn't so hard. I can have a cookie because I can spare it in my calories. I'm losing almost 2 pounds a week right now on 2,500, 2,600 calories. In order to maintain weight, I have to eat 3,200 calories. It's pretty easy not to emotional eat whenever you have so many calories to work with. And so that is where cardio can greatly help with your emotional eating. So what I would do with your steps is start tracking it. I have this step tracker here. I show it off a lot. It's a 3D pedometer. It says at the top, Nestla. If you look this up on Amazon, a pedometer, I think this is the first one that comes up. They're really cheap. The reason I like it is because I can take my phone out of my pocket and be using it or texting on it or talking to clients or whatever, and I don't have to worry about it not tracking my steps. It always ate at my mind thinking that, my steps weren't being tracked here, because they really add up. If you're on the phone for 5 minutes walking around, that's probably 500 steps or something that you didn't get credited to you, if you will. So I like using a pedometer. I think that is a really good way of doing it and collecting your steps. So let's say that, you find out that your average, you're not trying to get extra steps, your average is 5,000. Add 1,000 to it and try to get 6,000. If you can pretty easily do that now that your mind's focused on it, try for 7. Try to get the maximum amount of steps that relatively comfortably fits in your life. Maybe it's a little bit of a stretch, and I think that's a sweet spot to be in, is stretching yourself a little bit in order to get those steps. Now, cardio. My favorite forms of cardio, and I'm actually about to do a video, so if you're not subscribed, maybe consider subscribing, because I'm about to do a video on the best exercise for weight loss. And I'll give you a sneak peek. It's something where you're using your whole body. It's not like burpees or something, but it's like an elliptical and a bike combined. Sometimes we could do an elliptical. I'm kind of really gravitating towards those, but in the past and in my past videos, and I still am a firm believer in this, I've recommended the treadmill or the Stairmaster. The main reason for the treadmill or the Stairmaster being the best, in my opinion, is because you can't accidentally slow down. You have to use your increased fitness. As long as you're intentional with it, you'll be using your increased fitness. So what do I mean by that? Let's say that you walk at, 7 miles an hour. 7 miles, geez, what am I thinking? I'm just kind of distracted by the cars and everything. Let's say you walk at 3 miles an hour at a 3%. If you can walk 7 miles an hour, good for you. You need to be trying out for the Olympic team. I'm pretty sure, they're not that fast. The Olympic walking looks hilarious. I don't mean to make fun of it, but it does look pretty funny. So let's say you walk at a 3 mile an hour speed with 1% incline, and that gives you a pretty decent zone 2. What I mean by zone 2 is you're not huffing and puffing, but it's a pretty good workout. That's about the pace that I would try to get it to if you're doing cardio. Or on the Stairmaster, let's say you're level 2. On the treadmill, after 2-3 months, that's going to get easy. Most people would just keep doing the same thing that worked for them, but that will stop working, and that's a good thing. You don't want it to keep working at that easy level, because that means you're improving in your fitness, your heart, your lungs, everything's healthier. You are better. You're better able to burn calories, and here, that's the ticket, is now you can walk at a 3% incline, whereas before you couldn't. So for the same 30 minutes, the same 3 miles an hour, you're just walking at a higher incline. Don't hold on to the handrails, or if you do, hold on to them very lightly. Don't pull on them. And that way you are now for free, meaning like no extra effort, no extra time at least is being spent in order to burn more calories. So whereas before maybe you burned 200 calories in 30 minutes, probably not, probably more like 150, 125. Now, let's say you're walking at 10% incline after a while, you can burn 350, 400 calories in 30 minutes. Again, probably not, probably overestimating that, but it doesn't matter. The point is that you can double your calorie burn in that same amount of time. Imagine doing that 5 times a week. You know, there's so much room. Now you might not be able to dedicate to 5 times a week on cardio, and that's okay. I'm just giving you an example of how you can have more calorie burn for free. So at first, I start off kind of putting this all together. At first, I start off with steps only, and we maximize a person's steps. And then I move them to, okay, now of those steps, don't worry about getting more steps. You might accidentally get more, but let's try to emphasize having some cardio in your day now. And I'll throw that in with, and it could just be outside, but that's more like steps. If we're doing intentional cardio, it's going to be on some sort of machine, or you're going to be going for an actual like power walk that gets you breathing just a little bit. And that is how your cardio is going to really set you in motion for losing the weight, because you're scorching the calories, because you're increasing your movement. And then when you start to lose weight, good luck wanting as many treats, because you're succeeding at something. Why would you want to ruin that? It really does help. But like I said a little bit earlier while I was walking up here all on the ice and everything, it is hard to, like, I don't know. I guess I still could binge, and eat a bunch of sweets, but it's kind of hard now. One day something was happening with my daughter. I don't know if it was a birthday party or what. She had a bunch of like cookies or muffins or whatever. I ate 2 of them. It was like 600 calories worth of stuff. Maybe not. Maybe it was like 450, 500 calories. Still, normally that would not have been okay. But for that day, for that one moment, it was all right, because I had 3,200 calories to work with. I was in a maintenance phase at that time. But even if I was cutting, it would be a lot easier to not like overindulge, because there's no guilt. It fit in my day easily. Now, I'm not saying to do that all the time. I'm just saying that is why this point is so important, and I've spent so long on it, because I really think your cardio unlocks your ability to have confidence in your body because you're getting the results, and then to have more calories to work with later in the day. Okay, and in regards to like an illustration for how, oh my gosh, the glare, for how to, think about this building muscle. Oh man, here, let's focus on that. There we go. So this illustration for building muscle, let's say this is like 0 calories would be needed. You'd be dead, right? And then here is the calories that you need normally, just to like exist, even if you're on a diet or whatever. But if you're lifting, I'm hoping I can show this to you. My gosh, that glare is horrible. If you're lifting and your body, see, at first, whenever you're new, I think your body, this is again, just like a thought of mine. This is not proven by science, but it makes a whole lot of logical sense. When you're new, your body's like, I need muscle. This is hard. I've never done this before. It's a new stimulus. I need muscle now. And so it's going to build that muscle. But what does it build that out of? Where does all these calories come from? If you're already at maintenance or you're in a deficit, it has to come from body fat. I mean, I guess it could start shutting down processes of your body like hair growth and stuff like that, but you're not going to save a ton of calories like that. So where do you have stored calories ready to be used for energy that's absolutely needed? That's right here. That's coming from body fat. And so that's the calories needed to build that muscle. Let's say you build a pound of muscle. I don't remember how many calories are required to build a pound of muscle. Let's just hypothetically say it was 3,000. Where are those 3,000 calories going to come from? I think it's higher. I think it's like 7,000 calories or something to build a pound. I don't know. I could be making that up. But either way, that delta, that difference right there has got to be made up from something. Either you eat it, or if you don't eat it and you're tracking your food and you're following this video and everything, you follow my plan, it comes from body fat. And so that's the recomping process that is just so exciting to me that can happen. Now I could see a person arguing, well, your body just wouldn't build the muscle. And I agree with that in the context of someone who's an intermediate to advanced lifter. They've been doing this for a while. The stimulus isn't so new that the body's forcing growth. Every person who's ever lifted in the gym knows that the newbie gains, the strength you gain at first, the muscle you build at first is insane. It's like kind of like equivalent to being on steroids. It's crazy. And could you build more if you were at maintenance or above? Yeah, maybe. I guess there's an argument to be had there. But my point is that no matter what, when you're new, the muscle's going to get built. It's not just going to get ignored as if you're advanced and you already have a bunch of muscle and your body's like, well, I'm just not going to build the muscle. We're just working really hard for no reason. That's why someone who's advanced can work really hard, and like you see the before and after and you're like, oh my gosh, like Sam Sulek's a good example. He just recently had a before and after, and he's just stacked with muscle. And he just recently took a before and after, and it's like, man, you kind of used to look better, like you might have lost a little bit of muscle. And he works so hard, and it could be because he has maximized his potential gains. So even if, the body's just not going to force muscle growth when he already has too much muscle on his frame as it is. But if you're new to this and it's a new stimulus, you don't have a ton of muscle yet, your body's like dying just to add that to help you out with your, activities of daily living, which is now going to be exercise. So I think that's the big difference. Is a beginner can make use of this phenomenon of being at maintenance or even in a deficit, and they'll have a bigger deficit, a healthy bigger deficit, because they're eating that food, and then the body fat is what's being used to, the food's being used for energy, but then the body fat's being used as energy to build that muscle. And I think it's just such a cool thing that you can take advantage of right now. Okay, so this is it. And now we're gonna try it. Although I know it's gonna be delicious, but I don't know, maybe not. Who knows? See, there it is. I wish I could show this to you better, but it's good. See, I don't know if you can tell, I mixed little Oreos in there. It's not focusing, but I mixed like Oreo thins in there. So this is, one of the main ways to overcome emotional eating, in my opinion, is just having the things that you want, just in a healthier way. And that's it, nice and simple, along with all the other things I said, of course, but this is a big one. Recipes, recipe book. If you want it, find me on Instagram, Aaron Trainer Fit, and I'll send it to you. Okay, so if you want my full plan that I use with my clients, I call it my dial system that helps them actually lose weight and keep it off. It's totally free. I talk about it in this video right here. And if you want any recipes, the ice cream's gonna be in there. All my recipes that are high protein and help a person actually stop binging because they're so satisfied with their food and they're also so full at the same time. Actually find me on Instagram, Aaron Trainer Fit. And if you DM me there, then I can send that to you for free. That way you don't have to like expose your email or anything, because I email it to you. But it's just, like a page. It looks really cool. I really like it. It's not just like a Google sheet or something. I mean, it is an actual recipe book. It looks good.